Shay, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, here are the financials as of March 31, 2026. And the first report that we have is the balance sheet. And did anyone have any questions on the balance sheet? Okay, the next report is for Ross, the Ross grant. Did anyone have any questions on the Ross grant? Okay. Next, we have the Trent Court financials. Does anyone have any questions on the Trent Court financials? Okay. Next report is the New Bern Towers. Does anyone have any questions on New Bern Towers? All right. Next, we have the cash lead sheet. And did anyone have any questions on the cash lead sheet? All right. And the last report is the grant summary. Did anyone have any questions on the grant summary? All right. And that is it for the financial reports.
Okay, thank you, Shay. Any questions from anyone on the financial report?
Want to say to folks that know in the room when we did the finance committee meeting, we covered some of this stuff. You know, there continues to be improvement, I think, in terms of the way we're reporting, so it's easier to follow and easier to identify issues. And Reggie's going to get his staff and Shay and her team are going to continue to work on that going forward. And you know, I think next meeting, we anticipate probably coming back to the commission with, you know, what we updated on last time, the cash management thing, and also possibly some of these nonprofit entities, some of which were asked about in the public forum. There should be some reporting on that next meeting.
Yeah. And it was already scheduled, so
Yeah.
you know, we're comfortable with that as always, and that was already scheduled to be discussed.
I'd like to add as well, during the finance meeting, Sabrina pointed out that there was a typo on the grant summary. I think that's the last page.
The dates are for 2025 and they will be updated to say 2026.
Right.
Where's
Operating subsidy.
Oh yeah, right.
Under the end date, it should be 12/31/26.
Yeah.
It says.
And also, you know, if anybody asks that can vote for one of those grants, it's 5/11, because we're 2 months behind in our actual finance report, that it will show up and we see, I guess, July's report about.
Hey, if there's no, thank you, Shay.
You're
If
welcome.
there's no, other questions, I would entertain a motion to approve the finance report.
So, go ahead.
So
This is Scott, second.
thank you, Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Thank you.
And we should note that both Pastor Coghill and Pastor King have been on the screen. I'm not sure they got reported.
Yeah, I couldn't hear the meeting when it started, and then something happened when she started giving the reports. My sound opened up, so I'm
We had
here.
an audio issue over here. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next we have our executive director's report.
Okay, well, good evening, everybody, and thank y'all again for being here. Just a couple quick updates. We, for the good of the group, we have an agreement with the school district for the purchase of the FR Bern school. Our original request ended today. because FEMA was out, on a partial shutdown and they just come back. And I'm gonna give an update on FEMA. We have requested from the school system an extension, on the purchase. And so we're working on that, currently. So I just want you all to know, as the public information, we are working on an extension, related to the purchase of the school. Secondly, because of that, FEMA and the government, as you all know, was under a partial shutdown. Certain departments were not working for the last few months. They are back at work. We had a meeting with our FEMA team a couple of weeks ago. They have prioritized for us, the demolition funds. And so, as I've shared, that's why we need an extension, with the purchase, because right now FEMA's focus with us is on getting all of their approvals for the demolition. So as of right now, today, on our website, we put a public notice of 15-day comment period for some of the information related to FEMA that they requested. So that information is out. We're going through the remaining steps with them. Our goal is within 45 to 60 days. So hopefully by sometime in July, we'll get the final approvals from FEMA, related to the demolition. However, with that, we still have the HUD side of the requirements, and we can't finish the HUD side of the requirement until we get the FEMA side, because FEMA's funding the demolition. HUD is not funding the demolition. FEMA's funding the demolition, so we can't complete the HUD side, of the environmental review process until we finish up the FEMA side. We expect to be able to do that, as I indicated, with final approvals in July. And so we would run the remaining requirements that we have parallel, with putting the project out for bid. So my goal is to try to get, the project on the street in August. So what that basically means is, I plan to put on, advertisement for contractors to do the work, for the demolition. That would generally be a 30-day process for us to receive bid for the demolition. And then I'll bring that back to the board for final approval, and then we can give the contractor notice to proceed. So if things go according to my schedule, I hope to be able to bring back to you all, sometime in October for final approval of a contractor. And then after that, we can be able to work to give a notice to proceed. But that notice to proceed will be contingent upon us also working parallel, once we get the FEMA approvals, to also get the final environmental, assessment process completed, working parallel. So, with that being said, I think we will be able to give a notice to proceed, and hopefully, fingers crossed, be able to start demolition sometime November, no later than December. Okay, that's if everything goes according to schedule, and based on our interactions with FEMA, things doesn't seem like we're gonna have any glitches with that. Okay, so that's kind of where we are, as I said. And then after that, then my goal between there is also then to, once I can get the approvals in July, then I'll move to the next phase of getting the approvals of the funding, for us to be able to purchase the effort and the school, and then try to close that by year end as well. So that's the path we're on. And, are there any questions?
So the HUD is what has to wait on the FEMA, right?
Well, they don't. So our situation is, HUD requires us to complete an environmental assessment. It's called Part 58.
Got it.
We can't complete the Part 58 component until. So generally, federal agencies have a, participating agreement. HUD is not party to FEMA's agreement with North Carolina SHPO. So North Carolina SHPO and FEMA have an agreement. HUD and North Carolina SHPO have an agreement, but generally, there's, all of the federal agencies are under one. In this case, they're not. So because FEMA is funding the demolition, we have to wait on FEMA and North Carolina SHPO to resolve all their issues and sign off on. That's a 45 to 60-day process, which should end by the middle of July.
No, okay, good people.
And then, once that's done, then our consultants with the city that's doing the environmental assessment will take that information and that agreement that they have and use that to finish up their environmental assessment, submit that to SHPO, and then SHPO signs off on the HUD side of the environmental assessment. We think that that part will be streamlined and go easy because FEMA and SHPO will have already addressed all of those same issues. If that makes sense.
Yeah, they're the common denominator, so,
Yes.
so, yeah.
So they're in the middle of it
And once that environmental clearance comes,
Mhm.
we can proceed
With the demolition.
and HUD will be, you know, we don't have to have the demolition complete for HUD, right?
No, just.
No.
Just environmental.
Better review,
Yeah.
yes.
So Jim, so going back while we're in this situation, when the flood happened, HUD gave Newbern Housing Authority approval to demolish the buildings.
Yeah.
So we've had approval since 2019 to demolish the building. So when I was working as your consultant before here in this position, when I contacted HUD and it went all the way to the Special Application Center, they said, we gave you approval to do demolition without you ever doing the environmental assessment.
Okay.
So then we got a letter from HUD rescinding the demolition because we never did the environmental assessment. And so when we started down that road of environmental assessment, that's what got us where it is.
They did environmental assessment.
Yeah,
Well, this will be next to the Trent River.
Yeah, so that's where we are. So all HUD is waiting, all of the HUD approvals are in place with one little piece. And that is, it's just a check, it's a box to check. Once that environmental assessment is complete, everything else is in order. They check that box that now the environmental assessment is done. And we move forward with demolition.
Do we have anything to really worry about on that, with that box check?
No, because
As long as the federal government's paying people to work in.
Yeah. So
Down and.
So FEMA and SHPO are in lockstep now on our process locally. And so that's why I said is, we don't see when we get to the HUD part, any issues because FEMA and SHPO are in conversation.
Great.
They're comfortable with the process we're doing. And that's all we're waiting on is this 45 to 60-day process.
I'm sure all those folks there are gonna be happy when it's just finally done.
Yes, sir.
7 years.
Yeah. So that's where we are. That's all I have.
You sure?
Well, maybe not, just so.
Any other comments about this? Exciting news? Awesome, awesome. It is. Very awesome. We are making progress. It's what matters. So, take a look at your reports. All three, please, New Bern Powers, Frankfort, and the Ross program. If you have any questions, speak now.
Now, let's just shout to my boss girl over there, she just keeps continuing to
Great.
bring it on, I'm telling you, you don't sleep. Talking to all these people. It's amazing.
Yes, it's looking really good.
It's a great job.
And our numbers look good for, the towers. And Trent Court.
I do want to just ask a question about the police report on track court. Are you concerned with anything? I mean, I'm seeing, warrants and weapons incident, things like that. Is there something more you need to do? I know the summer's coming, the kids are out of school, it's generally, do you want to speak to the police or you want that presence there? Is there anything to?
Not at this time, we're working on something
Okay.
that, hopefully, Carolyn and Pam and I are working on some things, from a security standpoint, that we think is gonna even be more beneficial visibly to be a deterrent, that we're working on, and hopefully I'll bring that information to you all, next month.
That was the reason I wanted to see the definition of the police report, just to get a feel about what we can do as an authority to try to stem some of that.
Yeah, now we got some things in place that I think everybody, including the residents, will be pleased about. That's gonna be a major return, during this, time frame of this upcoming summer, so I'm excited about it.
Most of them are pretty small, right? I mean, you look at them, noise complaint, loud party.
That's
When
okay.
I was in college, I was on one side of those, I was in law school. What is the injured, there's 3 injured animals? Yeah, that was the weirdest one.
In your hand, call the police.
3 times?
That's my.
Pam, you know what that is? No, okay.
It's hard. I mean, it probably falls under very minor as well. It's just kind of curious.
Well, thank you, ladies. We appreciate, your assistance in your hard work. We have one resolution, correct?
No, we
No.
don't have any resolutions.
Okay, okay. So we need to go into closed session. So, thank you everyone for coming.
You
And,
gotta, you gotta know. What?
Do we need a motion?
oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're sorry.
Yes, thank you for coming. We are, moving into closed session to consult with our attorney. And I would like to have a motion to do so with.
But which got 130 to 143-318, dot 11.
A3.
A3, okay, so I'll make that motion. I make a motion that we go into closed session to consult with attorney pursuant to North Carolina General Statutes 143-318 dot 11.
A3.
Oh, excuse me, 11A3, that's right.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All in favor? Thank you. Okay, we are now back into open session. No changes, made. And so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I know you said no changes, but no action.
No action. No action, excuse me, was taken and no changes were made. So now I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.